here is a special weather statement from the National Weather Service in Great Falls. For the following area, in Montana, southern Rocky Mountain front, high wind warning remains in effect until midnight Mountain Daylight Time tonight. West to southwest winds 40 to 55 miles per hour with gusts up to 80 miles per hour occurring. Travel will be difficult, especially for high-profile vehicles.
Well, it's windy today. 35 to 45, gusting 65 to 80. There's some days where you should stay home. Today's one of them. We came out here to see how many RVs would be driving by today. We've already seen a bunch. As the day goes on, it's supposed to build. So if today was the day you were going to leave on your vacation, it would be a good idea to postpone that. If you were planning on leaving your campsite because it was too expensive, think about how much it's going to cost if this wind tips your rig over, tips your car over. Maybe you lose your lives. Not worth it. Today would be a good day to just hunker down, stay where you're at. When my outfit gets tipped over. I'm serious. Slow way down. Number 2, take the next exit. Get off the highway, find a place to park and just sit this out. I thought about this the other day. I was watching a video of a gal that was traveling. She had a pickup truck and camper, and she was in a campsite and the winds were gusting 70. But she stayed parked broadside to the wind, and I didn't understand that. Her campsite was wide open and she had the ability to just turn her car and turn her truck and face into the wind, which is what she needed to do. Linda and I got caught out a few years back. We were leaving Forsyth, Montana. The place we were out on a ranch at a big event, and the event was over, and we saw this huge black cloud approaching, and we knew that if we didn't get out of there, if it rained there, you're stuck for like 3 days because of the mud and the gumbo on the road, and you can't get up the steep hill to get out of there. So our only concern was to get the heck out of there before it rained, and we got stuck there for 3 days. We weren't thinking about the wind. We made it out to the highway, and just as we turned onto the highway, the winds really picked up, and it was gusting 100. The only thing that saved us was the highway was directly into the wind. That's the only thing that saved us that day. There was nowhere to pull off. It was just a 2-lane highway with steep shoulders on both sides, no place at all to pull off, no side roads, no anything. But I knew the highway, and I knew that it was going to stay directly into the wind, and that's the only thing that saved us that day. It was pretty scary. It's always good to listen to the weather report every day before you leave, and listen to the weather report every morning that you're on the road. Keep track of what's going on in your area. There was one time where we were traveling down through Laughlin, Nevada, and or down through Nevada heading for Laughlin, Bullhead City area, and we heard that we were going to get a storm the following day, and it was going to be gusting 70. So we got online real quick and we looked around and we found a campground that in the photographs looked like it was somewhat protected, and it was. Not quite enough, but it was semi-protected. It had bushes that were like 8 or 10 feet high that would break up that surface wind. And we went ahead and got a campsite, and it was such that we could back our trailer in, but we couldn't stay hooked up. We had to unhitch the car. So we had to park the car next to the trailer. So the next day when these winds picked up, it was threatening to just blow our trailer right across the campground. There was, of course, nothing securing we got some chocks under the tires. Well, that wouldn't have stopped this wind. And what we did is we had the ATV with us, and there was the trailer was parked like here, and there was a embankment behind the trailer, and we parked the ATV down the embankment and hitched the winch cable to the back of the trailer and took up the slack, and that's what held our trailer from being blown away. You got to do what you got to do. Other times when you need to worry about what you're doing and you need to hunker down is freezing rain. If you're driving down the highway and it's raining, and all of a sudden it looks like there's a plastic sheet forming across your windshield, freezing rain is pretty weird when it hits because it spreads and freezes. If you see that happening, if you see the ice forming on your windshield like that, stop immediately, because it's freezing on the surface and it's going to be just glare ice. You need to pull over immediately and just stay where you're at. Other times is dust storms. It's like a fella from Texas told me. He says, when you're heading down the road, you get caught in a dust storm and the visibility goes down to almost nothing. He says, get off the highway, not just off on the shoulder, but totally off the highway, because it's dangerous to be anywhere near the road in a storm like that. He said people would see the tail end of your car. Let's say you're parked over on the shoulder. They see the tail end of your car. They think you're still in a lane, and maybe they can't tell if you're moving or standing still. Get totally off the road. Heavy snow. If you're driving in a heavy snowstorm and the cars as they're driving down the highway are kicking up those billowing clouds of snow, what happens is you'll be driving one way, you'll have a semi-truck coming the other way, and you'll go totally blind in a big cloud of snow. Last winter here in Montana, we had a lady and her child went off the road and rolled the car, and they were killed because we have real steep shoulders here. The highways can be very dangerous. Anyways, truck went by, they lost all visibility, they lost control, and they rolled their vehicle. So there's times when you just need to get off, put the coffee pot on, just tell yourself, wherever it was you were going, you're just not going to get there today. One time down in western Wyoming, Linda and I got caught in high winds, and it was perpendicular to the highway. That's the worst, but there was nowhere to go, and we slowed way down to where we were just creeping along. In a situation like that, where you can't get off the highway totally, maybe it's better to get off on the shoulder and come to a complete stop. If the wind's going to roll you over, push your outfit over, at least you're stopped. In our case, we finally made it to a small town, and we pulled into the lee of a big warehouse and just parked there until it died down. We sat there for a couple hours, but better safe than sorry. Well, luckily we're not towing today. And I'm going to go home and put the coffee pot on. Hey, if you like this video, please be sure and like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you around.